Hi, everybody. Glad to see you're here. I already have some questions up on the board, but I don't see that anybody's joined in the channel yet. So I'm going to give it a second. This is going to be a show run by you. You have to decide what questions you want read. I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are in our timing right now. Okay. I'm trying to mark some of these. Hi, Gigi. Let's see what we got. Okay, I got a lot of questions about guides and this season. Halloween's an interesting season. It's a season when what's living is getting ready, when, as far as planting and growing a farm and everything, what was living is getting ready to die. And it's a time when they say the veil is thinner. That's what the holiday that Halloween's based on, that comes out of the Celtic tradition. It was that time of year when you could talk to the other side. It's like Deus des Mortes, which I do not say right, I'm sorry, but that's Day of the Dead in Mexican culture, and it was part of their Incan culture, and most of the religions down there had a day like it. And it's a day when you honored your ancestors, and they believed that they could feel their ancestors being closer to them. So it's really, it's just universally that kind of year, that time of year. And it's a good time to talk about those sorts of things. We're going from October, which is where Halloween fits. And then the day after Halloween was, in my church, was a day when All Saints Day. That's when you remembered all those whose souls had passed, and you hoped they were with the saints. And that was another place where the Christian church usurped another tradition and made it part of their tradition, which is a big trick in Western civilizations, Christian churches. And it's interesting to go from October, where they think the veil is thin, to November when it starts building again. But it's actually time when, as we all know, it's getting darker until the 21st of December. Every day is a little bit shorter, a little less sunshine, a little more darkness. If you live where as I live, it's kind of not really appreciable. It's somewhat appreciable. You realize it's getting dark earlier. But when you live way up in the northern latitudes, you really feel it. And I have people that follow me that live up in Finland and in Norway and in those countries, Scandinavian countries. And it really does get dark earlier. I remember was raised in Chicago, and that's just sort of about 2,000 miles from where I live now, directly south. And I was amazed at how the sun would be up so late in the afternoon and the early evening, because it was what I would have called early evening. It's still afternoon. So we kind of have all those shifting patterns around us. If you're into numerology, we're in an 8-year, which is personal abundance and growth. And on January 1st, the universal year will become 9 on January 1st, 2025. And you figure the universal year out by adding the four numerals of the year. So 2024 would be 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 plus 4. So that's 8. 4 and 4 is 8. Next year, 2025 adds up to 9. And that's kind of how you can figure out your personal years too. You just take the numbers of your birthday, the date, and the month in its numerologic form. In other words, like December's a 12, so it's a 1 and a 2 together. You add your birth date and the number that's your month, and then add a 9 on it, and that will be your next year. Your personal year will be next year. And we'll get into that when we get closer to the change of years. Numerologists call this time of the year the shoulder, when The 8's still here, and we're still working with personal power and abundance and that sort of stuff. That technically it didn't change until the 1st. But in numerology, things happen more gradually than some of the other psychic sciences. So it takes a little bit longer to for it to happen. So I sit through lectures from Ann Perry every once in a while, and she was talking about how they call this the shoulder of the year, and it kind of starts in October, but then definitely in November and December, you feel the power and the kind of pull that you would get from the vibrations of the 8 will shift to the 9. And 9 is the time when we end things, we complete things. If you thought the end of this year, since the eclipses has been letting go, it's just starting. There's going to be a lot of letting go, a lot of seeing things completely differently, which for each person is going to be their own personal journey, but we're all going to be in those points. So let's see. And today I decided, after I saw some of the questions that came in, to use the wild elementals as an oracle card. And for some of these questions, like a message from your guides, I'm going to draw from this deck. As you can see, I'm still wearing my hand thing. I'm going to the chiropractor this afternoon, hopefully start to get some relief from this. But I woke up this morning and it was screaming at me. So I'm going to, okay, the cards were shuffled. I can tell you the cards were shuffled. Okay, and so the first question for us today is, hi, any message from my guides? Thank you. My moon. What did Moon get? Oh, Moon got, it's a powerful card, the Lion. And I will read it from you in the Wild Elementals. I like to use Wild Elementals this time of year because what's the number? 25. They have a number on this card, but it's written in ink that makes it hard to read. The Lion. I like to read with elementals this time of year because fall is the season of the elementals. That's when the spirits come back to talk to us. And a lot of those spirits that we're hearing from are really the elementals. The Lion's attributes are brotherhood, letting go of stress, rebuilding strong family ties, strength, courage, energy, and self-fulfillment. The majestic lion appears for you where leadership is needed. The true leader is the one who supports those around him and has the patience and uses empathy, compassion, and wisdom to get this work done. Stay away from the bossy, the dictator behavior. This will not help you. So this is a lot of fun coming up to Thanksgiving, I can tell you right now. Look at bringing balance to your life in this situation. Take time not only to work, but take time to relax and de-stress so you can handle your life more evenly. So that's what your guides are telling you to do right now, my moon. And Terry and I did a show yesterday on de-stressing and learning where we are in our life and trying to handle things. So maybe if you go back and look at that show, if you didn't see it, you can look at it there. Let's see. Ness. I would like a reading about what 2025 will unfold for me. Okay, I'm going to put that in the garden. I have it set up here. I'm going to throw the stones in the garden. And I don't know how many of you haven't seen the garden before, but this is the garden, and these are the stones I throw, and they're body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity. And I'm going to throw the 5 stones and see what we get for Ness for coming up on 2025. Speaking of what's coming up for people in 2025, I am offering again my year readings where you get a 12-month reading. And I'm going to start doing those again in November and December. And I try to do them in November and December. And Don't keep putting it off, putting it off. That's what happened last time. People kept putting it off and putting it off. And I ended up doing some people in January, and they had some really important things happening at the beginning of their January that they kind of missed. Oh, this is easier to do than shuffling cards. Okay. This is 2025. Oh, you're going to be busy the first part of the year. I'm going to start with your body is in go for it and root grounding. You're going to get greater connections with physical form and things that make you feel secure during this month. And you've got your earth, your body is in go for it. And movement this next year is going to be easier than it has. So you've had some blockages this year. Ness, they're going to start almost immediately, start fading away as soon as the new year shows up. Your mind, you're going to be breaking from a lot of previous patterns you've been living with. That's part of finding a new sense of security in yourself. You're going to be breaking away from those quite a bit. And you've learned from the experiences you've had in the last couple of years. So now this is for you. If it's a 9-year and it's a wrap-up year for you, it's going to be easier for you to wrap up the pieces and tie up the loose ends. Your spirit, oh, you got great spirit. You're out here in the chakras. Your spirit's between the tree of life, which is not a chakra, but it is I think. And this is a crown. And it's the tree of life is warning you that what you've learned in the last few years is actions without your spirits are empty and you find them not fulfilling, but your life's coming into a time when spirit harmonizes with all of your efforts. So it's saying, listen to your spirit, listen to your intuition. And then we're going to the grounding stone, and it's way up here, and go for it and true. You're going to be able to see things very clearly when you're up there, and all is aligned with your ideas. When you're straight about your ideas and you're dealing with them from a pure spirit, you can see what you're doing, and you can feel like you know which way to go. So this is going to be a great year for you to rely on your intuition. And that's true because your clarity is in air, and it says your thoughts are clear, and when they're clear, you'll know exactly which way to move. So don't move on fuzzy stuff, and I don't see any reason why you should, because you did a lot of work this year that got that out of the way. So 2025 looks like a great year for you. New surprises are going to unfold. You're going to find yourself in completely new situations, but situations you've had experiences about before, so they're not going to feel completely foreign. And our next question is, will my finances get better, or will I be stuck here for a bit? I have a lot of anxiety. Okay, I'm going to throw you in the garden too, Donna, because it likes financial questions. The thing about the garden is it doesn't say yes or no. It doesn't say gloom or doom. It just gives you an idea. So we're going to see if your finances are going to get better. Now, this thing also tells time. This is winter, spring, summer, fall. This is where we are right now. And we're about this far into this much towards winter. So let's see, when are Donna O'Brien's finances going to get better? Ooh. Got a lot of stuff. You got stuff, I can tell you what I see right now. You've been trying to build something right now. It's really going to come through for you in the winter. But why is your mind right in the middle of all of the basic elements? So this is going to be fun to read. Your mind is between fire, water, air, and earth, and those are the elemental energies that control all of us. And when when any stone ends up in here, we're working on something very fundamental to our being, and you got all 4 of them. And so you've got fire says, don't be tied to the false energy of the past, move on. Water says, let go of limitations. You're hearing a common message here. This is what's going on with your finances. With air, you've got your thoughts are all important. And for the earth, final thoughts to the situation are coming and growing out. Now, that sets the pattern up that's going around you. You're really shifting and changing. most importantly, letting go of limitations. You're holding your own self back with your finances. And I know I hate it when people tell me things like that, but you go, but I only know how to get this far. This reading's telling you can get farther than you think. And where your body is, it's you're typically looking to things in the past to figure out which way to go. And what you're going to do is going to come out of your past, but if you've gone into something and said, but I can only get this far with it, let go of that, because this is telling you can let go of those. You're working with stuff from the past, but it doesn't mean it has to work out exactly like the past did before. And your spirit is between go for it and true. Spirit's aligned with your new ideas, and this is going to be something that's going to happen this winter. And you're going to get into a plan, and it's going to go so harmoniously, you're probably going to be suspicious of it because you've had a rough time back here trying to get all this together. Your spirit's in water, and it's still in winter. And whatever this change is that you're going through and how you view things, it'll be over by winter. By spring, you'll be able to see things clearly and know exactly which way to go. And it's something you use your mind to do, and you have the capabilities of doing. That's going to be the change in your abundance. So how do I put all those pieces together? Your mind is in a real shifting place. It's going through great transmutation. Whatever you go into, it's going to be something you do have a background in. So don't say, well, I did that before, so it's not going to work. Look at all the things and find the one where you felt comfortable. This time, because of your past experiences being there, you're going to be able to move forward quickly. And most of all, when you've got your spirit in water, by the end of winter, by next spring, the transmutation for you, the change that you've been going through that's been pulling you to this, it'll be over. And you'll be ready to move on. And this shows you're going to move on brilliantly. It's a really good reading, Donna. It just means whatever you've been doing, I know you think it's been wrong. If something you know is obviously wrong, don't follow that. But it shows that things are moving along for you. So that's a good reading, too. I like all these readings. They're good readings today. I don't know if you guys know the truth, but you know how they say if you're listening to a reading for someone and you're in a show, it usually means that you were meant to hear that. It was meant to come to you. Well, I find when I get a whole lot of people are going to have a positive shift this winter, or time's going to change, for them, it usually means that's going to happen to me. So when I would read it at a table for a night and people had all good news, I knew, hey, I'm going to get some good news because I can't really read myself. Get a November reading. So we're going to pull cards for November. You guys go back on the board. Yeah, you see. I'm going to shuffle my cards and put them on the table so you can see them, Crystal. Blue. I want to thank all the people who sent me their home family cures that have worked on wrist pain. I am going to the chiropractor this afternoon and add her stuff into your mix. And I do have a certain amount of arthritis that runs in my family, but people in my family had arthritis. It was really crippling. I mean, they were couldn't do anything. So mine doesn't get that way. Mine just aches. Mine just lets me know that a storm's coming. It's going to be, that kind of stuff. Okay. November reading. Oh, good. You got the sun and the cup. God, this is another great reading. You're not going to get what you want by the end of the month, but you're building towards it all month long. You made some poor people choices or trust choices. They're fading away from you now. They were poor choices and that they upset you, but you've gotten beyond that and you're starting to learn where they took you to. That's what you needed to go. And there's the sun. And when the sun shows up, when I do a reading, it means everything's going to be beautiful. And then you have the Ace of Cups. Yay! That's all kinds of wonderful, new, fruitful information that's going to be coming for you this November. It's going to be really helpful. You're not going to be able to act on it immediately. As a matter of fact, this might just be a good month to look at the information and see what it's really telling you, because it's not all set up for you to get what you want. As a matter of fact, this cup may tell you that the thing you thought you were working so hard for, when you really sit down and think about it, you don't need it, and you're going to change your priorities. But it's setting you up for an absolutely marvelous 2025. So good for you. Another good reading. Yay. Okay. Got a reading about the next month. Okay, Carol, you get a reading about the next month. Let's see. Okay. And the people I'm reading right now, they got on real early today. They didn't even put it in the comments section in my when I posted mine that I was going to be having the thing today. This is why I can't shuffle cards, because I can't hold on to them. And yeah, I know, Dr. Gail, you're watching at home and laughing. She said I should just spread them out all over the table and pick a few. But I've been shuffling since I was 12, and I'm going to keep shuffling until I can. So, okay. Universe, arrange the cards so that the 3 cuts will do what I need them to do. Okay. Let's see what Carol gets. Another person got the Sun. You're going to have a great next month in November. But you have the Ace of Cups reversed. You have the opposite of her. It's everything you want. These are all the same cards. Guess what? I guess the universe wants it that way, because I shuffled them. You are going to get what you want, and it's a goal you've worked at for a long time. So what I read is this month's going to pay off for you big time. It's not going to be, you're going to get it what you want, but not in the way you've pictured it. Maybe the thing you thought you want to manifest, you really need to bring something else in. It's going to get you out of a time where you've had to think and consider about things. It's just going to be presented to you and said, what do you want? It's going to be achieving a really major goal, Carol, that you've been working towards. So it all looks good. And let me see. Where are they? I have a smaller deck. It's easier to shuffle. I'm going to put 3 qualifiers on your Sun. I'm going to put bunny cards on your Sun. I like the bunny cards. They're smaller and they're easier for me to handle right now. There we go. There's my bunny card. Okay. These are like more the size of a normal playing deck of cards. They're a little easier to handle. Except there's still 78 of them. Okay, let's see. Okay. And what is the sunny great thing? I'm going to put 3 cards. You're going to tell me what is the sunny great thing that's coming towards Carol. I think you know what it is, Carol. I think you know what you've been working on, but let's see if we tie this together. You joined up, then you want to be on top? Yes, it's something you've worked at really hard, and it got delayed. And as a matter of fact, at one point, this is kind of interesting. You almost felt like you were imprisoned because of the things you're working towards. Why is it breaking now? There's been a change at your work, and it may even be there's a change at work or whatever organization that's involved, that it's had a big change, rethinking of how it works. And what's this guy? Oh, okay. And okay, You had a real clear idea. I want to go get this. I'm going to get this no matter what. And what happened is there's been a change all around here. You're going to feel a little bit of disappointment at first, but you're going to meet up with the right people. You're going to realize how to get out of looking at the things you thought you wanted and realize that you get the things you do want. And your out card is the Fool. It's all going to be your choice. So that's lovely. That really is. You're going to have choices. I think sometimes choices are harder for us than no choices. If you got no choice, you just go do it. Okay, what's my next? Good luck, Carol. Let me know how that works out. Get a hold of me in January. Tell me how it's going. I'm noticing improvements to my cognition. Is this because I'm healing from the past trauma or something else is going on? So we're going to do 2 lines, Martha, for you. We're going to do a line for healing from the past trauma, or one of the other things you speculate, which is a raising of your vibration that's being caused by the photonic energy shift. That's what you're talking about, light codes, DNA upgrades, and all that. That's all from the photonic shift. So we're going to see is your cognition because of the getting free or healing from the past trauma, or the other thing. Healing, yep, you hung out there with it for a while and you really fought changing, but I think it's the past trauma. Just from the look of these cards, you're letting these people go. If it's from photonic energy, it's both. You healed from your past traumas and you got past them. You hung around for a long time. You decided, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And so you move forward on a new path, and you've learned to self-heal from the people who didn't love you, take care of you, and you've learned how to pat yourself on the back. You're not going to wait for them to stand up and say, you're to be rewarded for this. You're rewarding yourself. And you're on to it. And so this is the new light coming in our lives. We're on to a whole new way of being. And this is the Ten of Swords reversed. And that's good because the Ten of Swords means it's done, it's done, it's done. And when it's reversed, it means it's really done. I mean, it's over. You don't even need to think about it anymore. No, you're not having a fight with everybody about stuff. You're feeling such a sense of inner balance, and it's almost upsetting. It's a new self you're having to learn how to live with, a person that's this balanced, and this is the highest suit in pentacles, and it's someone who's getting, you're really settling out what are your values. So both those things are happening to you, Martha. I thought your name was Martha Tron when I first saw it, but it's Tom, Martha Tom, okay? Good for you, Martha Tom. Hi, Rachel B. And, okay. My partner and I separated, and will we both get past our unhealthy patterns and break into something new? Okay, I'm just going to ask this as a simple pendulum question. See pendulums? Yeah. This one's the one I use for earth and grounding. Let's see which one's easier for you to see. I'm trying to pick out a pendulum I know you can see. I think it's going to be the metal one. This is a solid metal pendulum, and I'll use it when I'm outside so the wind doesn't blow it, because the wind will blow this one and it actually will blow the one that's crystal. So do I have permission to douse? When things swing out for me, that means yes. Am I guided by my higher spirit? Yes. Am I protected during this reading? Yep. Okay. The question I'm going to ask Sid Sid Phoebes. Well, Sid Phoebes and her partner should, well, I'm not going to say should, but will they be able to get back together again in a healthy relationship? No, I think you learned what you needed to learn so you could build a healthy relationship somewhere else. Let's see. Will they eventually get to be friends? Okay, you'll eventually get to be friends, but it's not going to be your partnership relationship like before. And Jen Miranda's giving us a weather report. And let me see. Okay, this is. I want to retire at 62. I'm 60 now, and I do not own a home. What can I do to solve this block to my early retirement? Well, you can ask the pendulum. Should Rachel B find a resolution to her long-term housing needs? That's first thing. Will Rachel B, if all the patterns follow as they exist now, will she be able to retire when she's 62? Okay, it's not exactly straight. What that's saying is maybe there's some things you have to do to get there. I don't know where you live, Rachel B. I do know there's going to be a lot of new housing that's going to be built. I believe we will have a change of administration that will take care of that. And that may open the market up for you. Let's see, message from my guides. Okay. I'm going to pull an oracle card for, where'd it go? Oh, you can't see it unless I show it. How about that? For Melinda. Okay. Ooh. You got a frog. And I'll tell you what the frog means. And we'll put him down here where you can see him. Frog is 19. Frog is water. And a frog's attributes are singer of songs, transformation, cleansing, understanding emotions, and rebirth. When the frog hops into your life, you're being nudged to actively look for opportunities for transitions. You may be facing some tough life challenges, but the frog manages its lessons well and will help you swim through all these changes with grace and ease. The awakening accompanies an awakening accompanies each of these changes, bringing you greater abundance into your life. Alternately, frog medicine is also symbolic of coming into your own power. This can be done by purifying the soul, releasing emotional baggage, and coming only from a place of personal integrity. The frog is telling you to make all of your choices based on what's best for you. And if you think about frogs, they start out as tadpoles and then they become frogs. So frogs go through some tough transmissions, and they kind of, not as rough as I think a butterfly has it, crawls into a chrysalis and it comes out. I'm a what? But it can mean transformation for you. And I think in your case, you are running into a bunch of situations that are teaching you what are the guidelines for my life. And that's what your guides are telling you. That's why those things are happening around you. Yeah, I'll show the shirt at the end. I found a beautiful line of butterfly shirts, and butterfly is my spirit animal. Annie Moore wants to know what 2025 looks like for her. So we're going to throw it in the garden. Hi, Dr. Gale. Hi, Danny. Listening while pumping iron. Whoa. He's going to be strong when we go on those journeys with him this week. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you first off for this coming year, Annie, you're going to be working on some very basic and fundamental projects because your body landed in restate. And restate says right now your options for 2025 aren't very clear. You're going through, but you've got your spirit's in water. And it means by the end of this year, right now, you're not sure where you're going. By the end of the year, you'll know where you're going because your transmutation will be clear. And it also is showing up in true. And spirit's going to move you forward with skill and abilities. You're going through something right now in your life that's clarifying information from the past, and you either didn't understand what it was really saying in the past, or you did and you didn't act on it, but now you're learning you got to act on what happened back here because you can't carry that anymore. What I tell you, 9 years a year to end things. So 2025 is going to be a big year for letting go of things we thought we could maybe fix if we just hung on hard enough. And your thoughts, the way you think about things, really, your thoughts are all important, and it's really the way you think about things. And it's really the story we tell ourselves. It's the voice, the message we let come from inside of us that's going to help move you. And you know what you need to do. You're almost out of this restate. You finished it up. And clarity is an earth, and you have many paths ahead of you. You will pick the correct one. And I know it sounds like a fortune cookie, but with this card lined up like this, there's another way these stones could have shown up, and it would have lined up to make it look like there was hope or you were blocked in. You're not at all. This year, had you asked me this question a year ago, I would have seen much less clarity and much more confusion. I think you know the direction you're moving in. It's a matter of holding on to your spirit enough to make it there. And that's a good one too, Annie. Let me know how it turns out. Linda Bruce, we're going to ask the oracle cards for your okay, we're going to put these guys out here, shuffle them once, and put them out. Okay, that's a shuffle. It's always a shuffle, but it's a shuffle. At least move the cards somehow. Oh, beautiful. You got the stag as your oracle for the day. And the stag is... Stag is 5. 5, okay. The attributes of the stag in your life right now are gentleness, the ability to move through your life with grace, innocence, sensitivity, intuition, ability to change directions quickly. You know how when deers run through the woods, it seems like they're hopping along, all of a sudden, whoop, and they go the other direction. They move around quite easily. Stag shows up in your life when you need to quiet your inner critic, and be gentle with yourself. Give to yourself the understanding and kindness that you would want to give to others. None of us are perfect. We are all on this road to live and to grow. The growth does not happen without walking a challenging path. And with that comes making some mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, you're not growing. Not one of my favorite lines, but absolutely true. When it comes to your own relationships with others, know that you cannot force change on anyone. All you can do is gently show them the new path you're walking by yourself. So you're learning to be more of an independent being and to not listen to your own inner critic. The other thing I can tell you about the inner critic is if they keep talking to you too much and they keep coming up with the same message, listen carefully and see whose voice you're really hearing. And you're going to find the person that started that in you. Oh, good for you, Jen. Jen did her altar for the Dies Muertes, that thing I can't. Dia de los Muertes. I'm going to learn. I have talked to Jeffrey has his out on his stoop of his house. Okay, I'm going to do the same oracle deck for you. By the way, if you're watching the show and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I'm like 9 people short of a very important goal. And if I get there, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll just be happy within myself. But I would really like it if I could get there. And YouTube tells us, and I don't know how YouTube knows it, but that less than half the people who watch our shows ever subscribe. And subscriptions help us so much because YouTube has its own way with math in the world. It's like, I don't know if any of you were old enough to remember when new math came into our being. Oh, you're the jellyfish. That's a cool card. But it was these weird symbols, and you had to learn. They tried to teach us binary, which would not have hurt me since I didn't end up programming in it. But new math was just a befuddlement to me. And I was like, if I have to take my orders from new math, I'm never going to go anywhere. So I just decided I didn't like math. And eventually, when I got my master's, I got it in accounting and computer science. And I learned to really like parts of mathematics, but nothing that had to do with new math because I'd already closed my mind off. Okay, you got the jellyfish. And the jellyfish's attributes are sensitivity to emotions, understand the values of floating rather than swimming when you're getting through emotional times. In other words, don't swim against the stream, drift. Proper use of softness, not being rigid. Jellyfishes aren't rigid. Ability to become unentangled from the webs in the perils of life, because they can always sort of get themselves out of places. Jellyfish shows that you can shine brightest in just being yourself. By living a very transparent life, you will be brought to the epitome of your own authenticity. Don't be afraid of letting others see you for what you really are. Your strength lies in your ability to be vulnerable, go with the flow, and allow yourself to feel the emotions and react to what's presented to you at any particular time. Let go of the rigidity. You can imagine, jellyfishes don't get far when they're rigid. They kind of got a bloosh out there, and that's how they go. That's how we see who they really are. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go down here and start. I'm going to star some things if they're in here. Thank you, Jolynn, for your thoughts about my wrist. And everybody's saying hi to each other down here, and then Yeah, Ness. Okay, Ness brings up a point. She knows by figuring out her birth date that she's in a personal year of 9. She's wrapping up a whole lot of stuff. The collective is an 8. We're in money and power. Collectively, that means everybody's in that. Next year, Ness has a fun year of having a 1 year where she gets to start all kinds of new things. That's fun. It's what I did on the year that my hair turned blue. I mean, I turned my hair purple, was that. And Helen's 8-8. She's right in the midst of being in touch with what the personal year and the universal year is. Yeah, Ness, I know. Ness is a 33. She's master number. You go Google it and you'll all admire Ness no end. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're going to see what critter we pull out of the elementals, the wild elementals deck now. I love the deck. I love the messages in this deck. I find when I read with the people come back and say, that fit me exactly that day. And you got a lion. You're the second lion we got together today. As you know, the lion means you're being pushed into a position of leadership. You're probably um, you've probably been put in some positions of stress, but the majestic lion appears when leadership is needed. The true leader is the one who supports those who are around him and has the patience and the empathy and the compassion and wisdom to go get that work done. Stay away from bossy or dictatorial behavior. You picked a wonderful time to go through an election season, I tell you. This will not get you what you want in what you desire. Look and bring balance into your life and this situation. Take time not only to work, but take time to have fun. This is a time for balance. Show leadership, be compassionate, but don't stress out and don't try to remake anybody. You can't do that anyway. Okay. I'm going to throw some tarot on this one. And in case you guys wonder, when she decide to use a guide and when she decide to, my guides tell me, they say, grab this deck. I have about 10 decks within easy reach for me. So that's how I tell. And okay. I just heard in my ear, Lindsay, and this may or may not come out in the reading. It says they want you to listen to them more. So they must be telling you things you're rejecting. What's going on around business? If you're involved with another person in your business, they are telling you, and you're a real straight shooter, and you're trying to get your point across, and you're at a stalemate. You're at a stalemate right now because things are not spiritually ready for you to move on. And it's because you have a feeling that if you move in a certain direction, it's going to cause heartache. I'm going to see if that's right. No, the thing you're worried about is creating heartache for you. It's got two aces on it. The Ace of Cups, it'll be emotionally better for you. Might not move the business as quickly as you want. But whatever you're being directed to do by what's ever happening here, it's trying to break your heart. It's trying to take away your power. You need to turn that. You need to become your own power and not listen to this other person this person's in the flesh. Let me see. Well, this person, for some reason, they're programmed to want hard times. They're good when they're with you, but they're programmed to want hard times. They want to be stuck in the mud. They don't really want to get along with people, and they want to cause some basic spiritual disruption. I think what your spiritual business is telling you is listen to your guides and don't listen to the flesh and blood human beings that are around you. Doesn't mean go wild. I just heard that really loud in my ear. It means to go at it where you use your power for the most in the business. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm going to get the one deck. I saw it over there and I said, gee, I just grabbed that and put it on the desk just in case. And I didn't, but I will go get it because it's that close. Mm-hmm. This is called Talking to Heaven. And I'm going to pull one card for you. I'm going to ask your relatives to kind of all get together and tell me what a message they have for you. Okay. Jen Miranda's family powwow in heaven says, It's one person in particular. Well, maybe it's two people in particular. But they say, remember me by the happy memories we created. So you must do a lot of stuff you felt you've already done in past lives, and you're bringing it through again. And the reading on this one is, I can see that you're remembering me with heaviness in your heart because you worry and you grieve. Those are normal and beautiful and understanding emotions, but they are just a part of you that's healing. However, when the dust settles, I really want you to know you need to dwell on the happy times ahead. That's the message from your ancestors, and not focus on sad endings. Keep the memory of us working in your life by thinking of us at joyful times. When something stirs a pleasant memory, talk about us and feelings, and you say, I know I was there. I will hear you, and I will help support that sentimental moment for you. So your relatives are up there saying they're not sure what kind of message you want, except that if they want you to remember them in joy and not in disharmony. I don't know. I never think of my ancestors in disharmony, but I don't know. I'm feeling tired. Am I out of alignment? Oh, that's a bunny card question. Is Angela out of alignment? I tell you guys, I'm working at half speed. Isn't that a good thing? Okay. Ugh. Is Angela feeling out of alignment? No. 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 Absolutely not. You're tired because you're pulling in information you're going to need really soon. You're you're just not at the point where you can understand all of it right now. But you've been obsessed about choices that didn't work, friends that have gone away, people you have not gotten along with. You were in a very comfortable space for a while, and you don't have all the building blocks to get to the next comfortable space. So what you're feeling when you're tired like that, sleep, rest, get the impressions, meditate, open yourselves up, because you're going through a big transformation. Okay, this is a garden question. Yay, garden. Okay. Okay. Getting a job soon. When will Julie get the job? Oops, and you bounced off. By late fall, you got 3 stones in fall. You're going back to something you've done before, and this time you feel stronger and you can make a better choice about it. You maybe been offered something like it, but you didn't take it because of how you viewed the situation. You need to rethink that. And by spring, you're going to be in great shape. You're minded. Everything's going to be, remember, this is fall and this is winter. This is spring. This means you have until the 21st of December. Why is that? One of the things is you got into a job and they offered you a whole lot up front and nothing paid off, and it kind of burnt you about that job. And you've interviewed for a couple of jobs you thought were doing that. As long as you're aware of it, you can block it from happening again. But what's spring going to be like for you? In the spring, you're going to have part of the problem is you're going through a spiritual transformation, and sometimes the real physical world gets in the way of your spiritual transformation. But I think by December 21st, you're going to have a good job at that. And you may, by next spring, be thinking about shifting again, because the job market around you will have changed enough. Okay. Okay, seashell in the sky wants information that would help her with the direction of her career. This, I'm not putting this on a timeline. I'm putting it on an energetic line. So when you can't see it, but this space on the garden is heart, and when a stone lands in heart, we read that one first. And your spirit is making your heart come alive. There's something you're being involved with. You have a new idea. Power is coming. You want to transmute, transform in your job. And let's see if your job is going to let you. And I got a feeling it's body's true. And it's yes. The direction you think it's going in, if it's a positive one, it's a yes. Your clarity is coming out of the water, and grounding changes. No, grounding changes are settling into long-term patterns, and you have all the clarity you need. You just need to pick the one you want to follow. You're a little bit scattered on which way to go, and that comes from how you view the situation. But the most important stone here is you got body isn't true. So the direction of your career is true if you're using your creative mind along with your what you enjoy doing to move forward. If you're doing anything because you want to get more money from it, but you're ignoring all this emotional part of you, it's not going to be successful. So if you're dealing from your emotional side, you're going to be a success. And it's moving in the right direction. Okay. Ronnie Y. Oops. Here you go. You got to hit the right buttons. How's Ronnie Y's November going to go? Ouch. That hurt. New beginnings for some things, but you're not moving on. You're staying where you are. You're not ready for some of the changes that are coming to you, but they're coming and they're going to be given to you. And you're going to have a real opportunity. You need to change this card. You have a real opportunity to ride forward in November with some new ideas and some new qualities. But what's happening with you is you have the chance to start things, but they're not going to start and just go run. They're not going to start evenly. But you're not moving from the place you think you're at, and you don't need to be defensive about it, because the Four of Cups, when it's right set up like that, the little angel's going to come hand him this last cup. Or the way I learned it, I could have had a V8 card, and it throws it on your head, and you just got to be there ready to accept it. You have some decisions to make, but I think this next November, and don't we hate to hear this, it's what you make of it. Anyway, we're done because it's at 58 minutes. Oh, Leo, empath overload, just let it go. I mean, just really sit down and meditate. And any thought that comes in that is not what you want, let it go. And there are a lot of good meditations on how to build a screen around yourself. And if you're letting too much energy in, you have to learn how to control that, because that's what overloads empaths and makes them get strange. And let's see. Yes, hit like, hit subscribe, and everybody got good reading. So I'm going to read Pendulum on her, Diana O. You saw how when it swings away from me, that's yes, and this is no. And I'm going to see is Is everything going to go fine for her in her last trimester? Yes. And it was a real strong yes. It just sort of stopped in the middle of the circle and said, I'm not going around anymore. It's a yes. Good for her. I hope she's in a safe state. And I'm going to close it down now. Everybody, I'll watch my thing. I might be back on Thursday. It depends on whether the doctor works or not. I've also, if you want to book a private reading with me, now is the time of year to, you can book a 3-month reading. You can book a reading that specializes in certain areas. For those of you who are interested in what your ancestors think of you, I do past life readings. I got all that going on. And I also still build crystal grids, and I still talk stones. So if you want to get a hold of me about any of that, but we've gone for an hour. Thank you for being here. Bye.